Welcome to Peers RVA's online class. Today's lesson is on the appropriate use of humor. As you go through the lesson, feel free to pause the presentation in order to talk to your social coach, ask questions, or practice the skills being presented. Humor is one way that people communicate and connect with each other. When used appropriately, humor can be magnetic. The problem is that when humor is used inappropriately, it's one of the fastest ways to push people away. So it's important that we understand the rules about using humor appropriately when trying to make and keep friends and develop close, meaningful relationships. Try to avoid using excessive joking over electronic communication. It's difficult to convey tone over text messaging, emailing, or direct messaging. Use emojis, LOL, or JK to convey a joking tone. Another rule for appropriate use of humor is to be a little more serious when you're first getting to know someone. The problem with acting silly and trying to be funny when you're first getting to know someone is that they may not understand your sense of humor. They may think you're making fun of them, or they may just think you're weird. Have you ever met someone for the first time and you think they just told a joke but you're not sure? And you don't know if you're supposed to laugh? For you, that probably felt awkward, uncomfortable, or confusing. We know people sometimes try to be funny when they're first getting to know someone. But if your goal is to make and keep friends, this is really risky. After you've gotten to know them better, then it's okay to be less serious if your humor feedback is good. Another rule for appropriate use of humor is not to repeat jokes to people that have already heard them. A joke is not funny if you've already heard it, and it makes the joke teller look like he or she doesn't have any other material. You should only repeat the joke if someone who has heard the joke asks you to tell it. It's also important that humor should be age appropriate. That means you shouldn't be telling knock-knock jokes or really silly jokes that a 5-year-old might tell. Your friends will not think it's funny if your jokes are too immature. Another rule for appropriate use of humor is avoid insult jokes. These are jokes that make fun of another person. You might hurt their feelings. This also includes jokes that make fun of someone's ethnicity, race, or religion. Many people find these jokes offensive, and it makes you look insensitive. Telling insult jokes is a fast way to get a bad reputation and ensure that people will not want to be your friend. Another important rule about humor is to avoid telling dirty jokes. Dirty jokes are ones that make fun of sex or somebody's body parts or bodily functions. Dirty jokes often make people uncomfortable and may give you a bad reputation. Another rule for appropriate use of humor is to not tell jokes to people in authority, such as police or TSA agents. Telling jokes to people in authority could get you in trouble. Another rule is don't laugh for no obvious reason. People might think you're weird if you just burst out laughing. If you do just laugh for no reason, just say, "Oh, I was thinking of something funny. Excuse me." Another rule for appropriate use of humor is to avoid inside jokes with people who won't get them. Inside jokes are those that only a few people would understand. They're usually specific to a context and only shared by a particular circle of friends. Telling inside jokes to people not in on the joke will make them feel like they're left out. So don't tell inside jokes to people who wouldn't understand the context unless you're willing to explain it to them. But remember, jokes that have to be explained are generally not funny to the receiver. It's also important to think about whether it's the right time or the wrong time to tell jokes. The right time to tell jokes would be during parties, get-togethers, dates, free time, lunch breaks, or when other people are telling jokes. The wrong time to tell jokes is during a lecture, when a professor is talking, during the exams, when you're supposed to be working, or when people are sad. Some people think it's a good idea to tell jokes when someone is sad, like they might cheer the person up. The problem with telling jokes when someone is sad is that it makes you look insensitive. You might seem like you don't care, or you might look like you have no empathy. We know people sometimes tell jokes when other people are sad, but if your goal is to make and keep friends, this is really risky. Sometimes people tell us jokes, and we may not think they're funny. If we don't laugh or say, "That's not funny," we might make them feel bad. If our goal is to make and keep friends, we should give a courtesy laugh. Politely smile or say, "That's funny," if someone tells a joke, even if we don't really think it's funny. Watch this video and think about some of the social errors that are happening when giving a courtesy laugh.
Hey Gabe, how was your break?
It was really fun. How was yours?
It was really good. What'd you do?
I actually went skiing.
Oh, cool.
Really funny story. I was skiing down a double black diamond trail. Really difficult. You go really fast. Everything was going well, and I get to the bottom, and I just wiped out. It was crazy.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Now watch the video again and think about what they did right this time.
Hey Gabe, how was your break?
It was really fun. How was yours?
It was really good. What'd you do?
I went skiing, actually.
Oh, cool.
Really funny story. I was skiing down a double black diamond trail. Really difficult. You go so fast. I was doing really, really well, but at the bottom, I just wiped out.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was.
Let's pause the session here and practice giving a courtesy laugh with your social coach. Telling jokes is a really hard thing to do, and most people shouldn't even attempt it. But if you do tell a joke, you need to pay attention to your humor feedback. Humor feedback is the reaction someone gives you after you've told a joke. Paying attention to humor feedback tells us if people think you're funny. When you try to tell jokes and no one thinks you're funny, you may end up pushing people away, or they may think you're strange. When you're paying attention to your humor feedback, one of the things you need to notice is whether the other person thinks you're funny. Signs that they don't think you're funny include they don't laugh or they don't give a courtesy laugh. The person may also walk away or laugh at you instead of laughing at your joke. One of the best ways to pay attention to your humor feedback is to notice whether the person is laughing at you or laughing with you. In order to do this, you must watch the other person for his or her reaction. You must attend to their body and their face. Simply listening to whether they laugh or not will not give you enough feedback. Look at the table on this slide to see signs if someone is laughing at you or laughing with you. The best indicator that someone is laughing at you is they roll their eyes or make a sarcastic comment, or they might laugh but look at someone else as if pointing to you and saying, "Can you believe this guy?" That's not good humor feedback. Take a look at the videos on the next two slides and pay attention to the humor feedback. Discuss this with your social coach. Are they being laughed at, or are they being laughed with?
Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know. To get to the other side.
Watch this video with your eyes open to attend to the body and face and guess again if the humor feedback is laughing at someone or laughing with someone.
Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know. To get to the other side.
With this video, you could try an experiment. First, watch it with your eyes shut and try to guess whether someone is laughing at them or with them. And then play it again with your eyes open and see if you guessed correctly the first time.
Why did the chicken cross the road? I don't know. To get to the other side.
Remember, the most important way to pay attention to humor feedback is to watch the other person's reaction. Listening, just listening for whether they laughed or not is not enough, because they could be rolling their eyes or making a face. Tell a simple joke like a knock-knock joke to your social coach and pay attention to the humor feedback they're giving you. We're suggesting a joke like this because it's simple, but long enough for you to pay attention to your humor feedback. Remember, practice is really important. It's important to remember that not everyone needs to be a joke teller. You can also be a joke receiver. In the end, it's more important that you be able to laugh with your friends than that you be able to make your friends laugh. Being a joke teller is very difficult, and few people are good at it. Most people are better at being joke receivers. Joke receivers may still tell the occasional joke, but they do not frequently and actively try to be funny. Some people are not comfortable with humor at all and prefer not to be around people who tell jokes. In this case, they're neither a joke teller nor a joke receiver. But it's important to remember that people will sometimes want to tell jokes, and we should still be polite and even give them a courtesy laugh when appropriate. We would not want to make the person feel embarrassed by not giving a courtesy laugh. So if you're someone who's not comfortable with humor, remember that friendship is a choice. You don't have to be friends with people who are joke tellers if that makes you uncomfortable. Discuss your relationship with humor with your social coach. Are you a joke teller, joke receiver, or joke refuser? This has been the lesson on finding appropriate use of humor. I hope that you'll practice the skills you've been taught today so that you can use these skills in a real-life situation. Thanks for your attention today. I'll see you next time.